This is J.P. Smith from Tree Peekers, author of Communion with Sasquatch. One of the men featured in the book is Jeffery Patterson. You may know him as Sasquatch Master on YouTube, also featured on the Ohio episode of Finding Bigfoot. Jeff has been accused as being a hoaxer, but not only a hoaxer, but a hoaxer who admitted that he was a hoaxer. So, Jeff, could you explain to us about how this came about and what your thoughts are on it?
Well, there was a video that I had posted. I had been under a severe attack by a gentleman from Kent, Ohio, named Tim Stover Jr. He goes by TCSJR Bigfoot on YouTube. He had been making a lot of public videos with some really absurd and just outright lies about my character and my past. There were times when a vehicle similar to his was seen driving around my neighborhood with a camera. My neighbor that lives across the street saw this, and he told me, because the car was driving around when we weren't here, thank goodness, or I would have confronted him right then and there. But when the police were called here in town, the car was gone by the time the police showed up. But anyway, this Stover and a woman by the name of Nancy Snodgrass from Fallsview, West Virginia, kept making claims that this tree shaker was actually my, at the time, 12-year-old son, who was just barely 4 foot tall at the time.
When you say the tree shaker, you're talking about the video that was analyzed on Finding Bigfoot?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And before we had entered that spot where we got the video capture, we had been out sled riding at the Salt Fork Dam area, and was out there for a while, and the sun had melted the snow off the dam where we were sled riding. So we started exploring the area around the dam, and we found this really cool rock shelter looking thing, and we'd all taken turns walking inside of it. In fact, we were all inside of it at one time. It was so big. And we took pictures of it, and one of the pictures was of my then 12-year-old son, who was wearing a camo coat and blue jeans. Well, Snodgrass and Stover started saying that, that thing is really his son. I had put another video out showing our height comparisons where you can see that it wasn't him. And on the Finding Bigfoot show, the creature that was shaking the tree when it was compared side by side was very, very similar in size to Bobo Fay. They said it was a little bit shorter, but the image they used, the creature was leaning forward, which would have meant when he was standing straight up like Bobo was, he would have been at least as tall as Bobo, maybe a little bit taller. And on that video, it keeps coming up that I said this creature was 8 foot tall. I never said that either. But getting back to the video that they claim that I admitted a hoax. Because of all this false stuff that Mr. Stover had been putting out about me, and the Snodgrass was doing the same thing, I got fed up one day. One day after work, I stopped at a park and ride along Interstate 77 in New Philadelphia and had my digital camera with me. And at the time, I didn't know anything about Bigfooting or anything. That capture was the first one I had. Tim Stover said, if I make a video saying that this was fake, that he would leave me alone. Well, I never said it was a fake, but what I did was I talked about my thoughts on what this Bigfoot was. And I mentioned his name and a few others, and I said, I don't believe that this Bigfoot is an animal. I believe that it's more humanly related, possibly even what I called it at the time was a feral human.
Okay.
And somebody that had left, the normal civilizations that people live in and lived in the woods. That's what I believed at the time, and that's what I said.
So then basically, Tim, he said that if you would admit that tree shake was a hoax, that you had hoaxed it,
Yeah.
then he would back off and stop discrediting you or slandering your name?
Yes, that's what it was. Tim Stover was really upset when I first posted that video. And there was a trackway too, and there was one particular print from that trackway that day that showed what looked like it had toe prints on it. That video on January 16th was a Sunday, and I posted it that night. And he had sent me emails, wanted me to take him to that spot the next day. It was a Monday. I'd work. I'm a single father. All four of my kids were still living here and in school at the time. I have to work. If I would have told my boss I was going to take the day off, he would ask me why. And I would have said, well, because somebody from Kent, Ohio wants me to take him to salt work for Bigfoot. I would have been fired. I would have been fired on the spot.
Right.
Right. And then here I would have been with 4 kids and no job at 50 years old. There was no way I was going to take a day off. I did offer to go down there with him the next weekend, but that wasn't good enough. He had to get down there right away. As it was, he waited 22 days before he went back down. And before he had gone down, there was a big snowstorm. It was a Friday. All the area schools around here had to cancel school because there was so much snow. And then he went back down, and he made this little video, and he had this Snodgrass woman with it. She was in the video, but he later said she was not there. And he said, he could see my footprints all over the place, showing where I was walking and all this stuff. In his video, and obviously it wasn't mine because he was way off base as to where I was standing. We were pretty close to where I stand in the Finding Bigfoot show.
He ended up going up there by himself anyway because he didn't want for you to go.
Yeah,
and he was way off track.
Yes.
So he had in his mind basically that he was going to investigate this with or without you, and then based on his incorrect findings, he determined that you must be a hoaxer, but he was already suspicious of you. Is that what you're saying?
That was it. Yeah, that was it. Oh, he had put out a video. He was driving at the time. How he was betrayed and lied to and all this kind of good garbage. And then he just started getting worse and worse. I mean, it got to the point where he was not only threatening me, but he was threatening my kids. And I had enough of him at that time.
Was he making phone calls? Was he emailing? Was he posting on YouTube?
No, actually, no. What he was doing, he was making the threats through YouTube videos. He was posting videos, and then every time I checked my inbox, I had a ton of things from him and this Snodgrass and a whole bunch of other people that I didn't even know. Is what it was. He was getting as many people as he could to come down on me. He was calling me a liar and a faker. He said that he had evidence that I was a, how did he put that, workers' compensation fraud. He said I was guilty. He said I was found guilty in court of committing workers' compensation fraud. And stuff like that. He accused me of beating my wife. All kinds of stuff.
Did he actually create videos and post them on his YouTube channel for public to see?
Yes. Yes, he did. He
Um,
wasn't at that time. He wasn't doing anything else except for launching video after video assaulting me.
and does he still happen to have those on his channel?
Over on his channel, no. He routinely deletes everything. Uh, I check up on him once in a while to see what he's doing. And then there was one, well, ever since then, I changed on the comment section. There for the longest time, I was putting comments disabled. But I since eased up on that. I put all comments subject to approval, except for friends. Friends are free as soon as they post a comment. They're there, but all others have to be approved.
Right.
And that's how I found out about the TBS JR Bigfoot channel that was created, I think, on February 14th of this year. He had made a comment about the little Finding Bigfoot thing that I've got featured on my YouTube channel. He had made a comment on that. It's still on there, but I haven't approved it. I clicked on the username like I've become accustomed to check it out, and it's a picture of Stover wearing a gorilla mask, and it's got his camping trailer and his work van sitting in front of it. I Google searched the name TBS JR Bigfoot, and what comes up is everything under PCS JR Bigfoot, which is Tim Stover.
I see. Okay, yeah. So just for the record then, well, first of all, has he since kind of left you alone? Has he backed off?
Since that one? Well, you mean since a year ago?
Yeah, well, since recently, since the Finding Bigfoot episode came out and all that, has Stover backed off?
Since the Finding Bigfoot show, he himself has not done anything, but his friend Nancy Stover from Pollockville, West Virginia. She was the first one. I don't know how she got through because she has been blocked for over a year. But she had somehow managed to get through and leave a message for me. I don't know how she did that. But there was a time a couple of months ago where I was not able to access my YouTube channel. About a week later, I was able to access it. And then, strangely enough, that's when the message came through from the blocked channel.
Did you have to reset your password, or how did you get around that? You couldn't log in.
For some reason, no, I couldn't get in to reset a password either. Then like I said, about a week later, it was suddenly back, and then I reset the password.
Just for record, I know you said it before, but when Tim Stover basically blackmailed you and told you if you were to post a video admitting that you hoaxed a tree shake, he would leave you alone, but you never actually agreed to post admitting that you had hoaxed a tree shake.
No, I did not.
Okay, great.
No, I did not. That was never in that content. And it wasn't in the description or anything.
So moving on to the Finding Bigfoot episode, can you explain briefly how the conclusion that the Finding Bigfoot crew came to regarding the tree shake video was flawed?
I really don't remember any kind of talk like that whatsoever when we were doing the taping. We were with the entire cast and crew for about 4 hours, and the only thing Bobo said he didn't think it could have been because it didn't look like it was 8 foot tall, like I had said, and I never said, not one time did I ever say it was 8 foot tall. There was one thing that Bobo did say. We were at the end. We were sitting around their laptop, viewing the the two side-by-side comparisons. And there was one thing out of the blue he said, looks like blue jeans to me. And that's a direct, that was the only thing that he said. There was, Renee Holland did her normal skeptic bit. I mean, she, that's her job on the show, is to be a skeptic, and she's real good at that. Matt Moneymaker, he was going along with it at the show. I mean, he didn't have anything bad to say about it, and neither did Cliff Barackman. He had said nothing derogatory while we were there. The only comment was from Bobo towards the end. He said, looks like somebody in blue jeans to me. And that was the only thing that was really at that taping. That was it.
So you mean now, besides what was shown on the episode, the only other things that went on were what you just described?
Yes. There was nothing derogatory said about that.
Did they come to a conclusion with you? Did they say, well, I think it's, did any of them at any time say, well, I think it's legitimate?
Half of it was that they thought it was legitimate, and like I said, Moneymaker and Barackman, they didn't say anything like that whatsoever during the taping. Like I said, Renee Holland, she did her skeptic bit, and she did, but it wasn't derogatory. The only comment was that Bobo Fay said, and it was right towards the end, right before the director cut, he said, looks like blue jeans to me.
Gotcha.
That was it. There was nothing else. There was a video that Tim Stover had put on. He since deleted it too. He had talked about how he had spent 6 days with the cast and crew. Wherever they went, he went. He said he was out there with them all day, and he would go home and he would come back the next day, and he spent the entire 6 days with them. So what that's telling me is that's where the stuff about a video that says I admitted hoaxing came from, because he was in on that too.
So how long did the total process take from them getting there and setting up until they left?
Oh, for the taping? I
Right.
said, it was we got there about 4. We met them about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was just about 8 o'clock when we wrapped up. Me and my son, we got in the truck, and we went down to the handicap ramp, and we were really, I had always said that I was doing this with my boys. To get us out in the woods, we're going to look around, see what we can find. We're looking for if there's a Bigfoot and so forth, we're going to look through it until we find something. And I'd always said, when my boys didn't want to do it anymore, then I would quit. My oldest son, he doesn't want to do it anymore. He hasn't wanted to do it for the past year. He's going to be 17 on his next birthday, and he doesn't want any part of it. He doesn't even want to go the ghost hunting stuff with us anymore. But my youngest son, he still wants to do the ghost hunting part that we were doing. And right after that taping, he said, can we stop doing this now? So we went down to the handicapped picnic area, kind of like where it started. And we made a little video. I think it's still on my channel. How we had found some interesting things in our search for Bigfoot, and there was a couple of people that we named that we told them thanks for their help and everything, and that we was going to go into Bigfoot hunt, or we was going to start getting out of the Bigfoot thing and more into the ghost hunting videos.
What prompted you to want to to get out of Bigfooting? You know, are you fed up with it? Are you lost interest?
No, heck no. Personally, myself, I'll always be looking. I'll always be looking. But like I said, we were going out and we were looking and we were making the videos because basically my boys wanted to do it. I'll always be looking. I mean, I've seen and heard some things that I can't explain, and I still want to know exactly what's out there. But I'm not doing it nearly as much as I want to. The last time we actually went out was New Year's Eve, this past New Year's Eve. We went out for a little bit, and we shot a little bit of video footage, not really anything, and we was in this one location, and they were ready to leave, and I had my camera on full zoom, and I just held it out. I stopped the video and I held it out ahead of us, and I took 2 quick pictures right before we left. And there was an image in there that it kind of looked like a human, but not quite. I can see a face in it. If it's not a person that's draped in fur, then I can't explain what that is. I mean, you look at it, it looks, it's not a very clear picture. It was off in the distance. I didn't see anything when we were there, but I just put my camera on full zoom and took a couple of quick pictures. And like I said, if it's not a person that's dressed in fur, then I don't know what the heck it is. We haven't been down there since. When I saw the picture, it kind of scared me.
So when you say when you say it looks like a picture, a person dressed in fur, do you mean like a person in a costume or a person's face?
This is out in the woods. It's along an old road bed. It was a county road at one time. It's all overgrown now. They closed the road off years ago whenever they put the state park in. The road, I saw it, I found it on the Google satellite image. The road goes out for a ways, and it goes down a hill, and now the lake is on a part of it. And it comes up the other side and goes out to another road. But the road is completely closed. It's all grown up. It's grassy. It's got trees growing over it. We walked back there a little ways, and there was a deer trail off to the side. They just walked off it a little bit, and there was a deep gully there. Just went up around, and my oldest son, he stayed back on the old road bed, and then my youngest son had walked over, and he was taking a few pictures with his new camera. And my youngest son said, "Can we get out of here now?" So I said, "Okay." Camera's on, like I said, camera's on full zoom. I just said, "Wait a minute, let me get a couple quick pictures." And it was down towards, in the direction where the gully ran. I just took 2 quick pictures off in the distance. And that's what I got.
Now, were you out paranormal investigating, or were you out Bigfoot researching? Or were you just out?
That day we were looking for a cemetery down there that we hadn't been to before. That's what I found on the Google satellite image, and I saw where that road went. We were looking for yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were looking for.
No. Oh, I believe the name of the cemetery was Pleasant Hill Cemetery. That's where we were at.
Do you plan on posting those photos?
What's that?
Do you plan on posting the photos you took?
They're on there now.
Oh, they are.
On there now.
What do you know what they're titled?
I think I put a video on there just recently that shows all the clips that led up to it, and those pictures are at the very end. There's some other there's a couple others. When I first found them, I put them on. A lady from down in Texas, she had outlined the shape of the thing.
Okay. So they're recent?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jeff, does this mean that you are done posting Sasquatch-related videos, or just not as frequently?
Not as frequently. As far as I'm concerned, when the weather gets warmer, I think I'm going to be out there. My boys, they'll probably go with me. They'll probably be fishing at the lake or something. My youngest son might go with me from time to time. But especially this new place, this place where I got the thing out on New Year's Eve. I really want to go back to that area again. That was the one and only time we were ever on that road that I got that picture.
Do you believe it to be a Sasquatch-type being, or do you believe it to be an apparition?
I really don't know at this point. Like I said, when I took the picture, I didn't see anything. But I know I just held the camera out. It was on full zoom and took 2 quick pictures.
After the Finding Bigfoot episode came out that you were on, you said that your son said, "I don't want to do this anymore." What prompted him to feel that way?
That's just the way he felt. I don't know. He just said he didn't want to do it anymore. Of course, after the show aired, though, there's such a tremendous outpouring of support around here. I mean, he was like a celebrity at the middle school he goes to. He's in the 7th grade now. There was such an outpouring. He's like a celebrity down there. And now he's been asking me more on weekends if we can go down to Salt Fork. And it's just too cold to get down there. I'm a grandfather now. I got a little granddaughter. She's going to be 2 this coming May. And on weekends, we have her here. So my daughter and her husband can, have a little bit of time to relax and stuff. And I still want to do this. I just don't want to be obsessed about it. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, I got too many things going on here.
Have you also received a lot of support after the Finding Bigfoot episode came out?
Oh, a tremendous amount. I didn't know how many, all the people that I work with, I had no idea until that show how interested they were in this.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me tonight and set the record straight once and for all. And so all of you naysayers, if you're going to be skeptics and argumentative just for the sake, well then, maybe you should consider spending your time doing something else. And for all you guys who supported Jeffrey through all this and continue to support him, we thank you. I myself am one of them, in case you can't tell. So thanks again, Jeff. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me and for speaking your mind, buddy.
All right, and thank you very much.